Hello, this is Noreen from Joya Cards, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Yay! For more of my Stampin' Up! Card videos, please click that subscribe button and the little bell. And first-time subscribers win a demo card. Just put in my comments that you want to win a demo card, put your email, and I'll send one out. So we are going to be doing trees for sale. This is an interesting one because it's in the mini catalog, the July to December 2022. It's on page 39. That's the stamp, but the die is in Celebration, which is kind of nice. So if you turn to page 13, you've got the die here. So this is definitely a good deal. So let me tell you, this was a lot more than I thought. This is a full tutorial about what you can do with the stamps and where they all go. So let's start with the stamping. I always stamp out everything before I do any kind of project. And you know, the trees are the only ones that are really solid in the puppy. And even though the biggest tree doesn't stamp as solid as I like, you're not going to be stamping it in black anyway. So here's all the stamps here. So you got 3 sizes of trees. You got the sign, the puppy. This right here is a tree stand. Here's the puppy paws. These are like snowballs, snow here, sentiments. You also have a pole and a light, which is really nice. So this is how they stamp out. And then the dies, here's all the dies here. Now, some of them have stamps and some of them don't, which I'll get to in a minute. So here's the pole, here's the stamp that goes across. Here's a banner that does not have a die. Stars, which don't have a stamp. A bow, which doesn't have a stamp. A wreath. These little things here goes on this little Charlie Brown tree, the stand and the Charlie Brown tree. This little thing is the curtain for inside the trailer. This is the layering for the trailer. These 3 things here are the stands for the trees. The sign is for the puppy, and I think I covered them all. So that's how they cut out. Now let's get to some details. Now let's start with the trees. Now, if you notice, I have one just stamped and layered, one stamped, layered, and cut, die cut, because there is an outside die for this tree. So you can just do it this way. Now I'm gonna show you the layering here in a minute, but I do want to point out the colors. I kind of like my trees green. I'm sorry, I think trees should be green. So I get Shaded Spruce, Granny Apple Green, Pear Pizzazz, Mint Macaroon, Evening Evergreen Soft Succulent, which I really like. Mossy Meadow and Old Olive I was a little disappointed in because they're just too close, so they don't really show up. Garden Green and Parakeet Party. And then I duplicated those same colors here with them die cut. Now, if you notice, there are a lot of dies. In fact, there are 24 dies to this set. It's very crucial that you use a magnet. While you're die cutting, when you're done with your die, you put it back on that magnet, because I tell you what, this little die right here, it's going to go away. It's going to die. It's going to be eaten by your desk monster and it'll be gone. So I am an Amazon affiliate, which means I am totally checked out and legit. If you go to the description of my video, there are non-Stampin' Up! Products and they're Stampin' Up! Products. You can buy both directly from me. And the Amazon ones, what happens when you click on that link, and if you buy something, I get a little kickback, and it really helps me continue my card videos. But I also take this magnet here, I put it back in its original sleeve. I just took the flap and I folded it over with packing tape so it always, you know, is accessible. And then I just put the name on it right here, but it always has this on the back. So this is a very smart thing to do to keep all your dies together. Now let's look at these trees with layering them. Now let me show you how to make the tree. Now there are 3 trees in this set. Now we're just going to be using the die cut and the detail. Now we could go ahead and just cut from a stamp, and all we would need is the outline, and we could cut that out. But if we want to make one of these really cool trees that looks like that, what we do is we're going to cut out outline in one color and the detail for the other. So these go together, these go together, and these go together. So that's the 3 trees. So I've done one already. This one is the detail. This one's obviously the outline. Now there's 2 different ways you can do this. You can either snail it. Like when I did mine, I snailed them all because I did a million trees and I didn't want to take 1,000 years to do it. Or you could take your fine tip glue, you know, if you're going to be, if you're concerned about the webbing grabbing onto the card, then you can just go ahead and take your fine tip glue and glue it up. Now when I snailed it, I just ran it across and went through the lines, and it doesn't seem to be catching on anything. So I don't know, I think you can do either way if you want. So I went and used the fine tip glue, and of course these tweezers we got from the Essentials kit, and I'm just layering it on top like so. And you can either use a tree stand like I've done here, so you can use this tree stand right here, or you can use the tree stump like I've done here. Look at this, and guess what? I have another one here. I'll show you in a minute, so hold tight. So you're going to notice different things. Now I've got all the colors here, like black garden green, black shaded spruce, black evening evergreen, black pear pizzazz, black mossy meadow, this one, these two. And then I've got white garden green, white shaded spruce, white evening evergreen, white pear pizzazz, white mossy meadow, and black and white. And then I've got some other ones that are just solid colors. So soft succulent, pear pizzazz, evening evergreen, soft seafoam, pretty prince, shaded spruce, pear pizzazz. And then I go into the vellums. So I've got snowflake vellum and evening evergreen. I've got snowflake vellum and rustic harvest. So I'm getting into my DS papers. This one is snowflake vellum and pretty prince, snowflake vellum and black, brush stroke pretty prince, and shaded spruce brush strokes. Also, you'll notice that I have, and my doggy is barking, you'll also notice some of these are decorated. Like this one here, which is black and mossy meadow, they're two the same. I took that metallic mesh ribbon and made like a little, you know, decoration there. With this one here, I took the Real Red Garden Green pack, combo pack from the new catalog, and I just cut the edge and just lined it up there. I also used, this one is called Red and Green Adhesive Backed Pearls, and I used them, there's a red one here, I used a red, I used this kind of a greenish color here, I used silver and gold, and I've got another sheet, so there's probably on the other sheet too. And then I also used my black matte dots on this one here. Real red rhinestones. I don't know where I'm going to do when they retire them, but they're right here. I also use the 21 to 23 in color opal rounds because they have greens on them. And I use pearl basic jewels. Also in the new catalog, we've got red, white, and black pearlized enamel effects. Now, I probably will be doing a video on this, but I did use it, and I tell you what, it's something you want to really practice on here. I tried doing straight lines. I don't know about that so much, but if you are good at making straight lines, use your silicone craft sheet. I don't know how anybody can do without the silicone craft sheet. It's in the description of my video. If you don't have it, click on that link. You'll go right to my Stampin' Up site. Order this, because you know what I did? I made all these pearls on my silicone craft sheet, and they will not stick. Watch, I can pull that pearl right up, not a problem. I also, another great idea is you take your glue dots and you do your pearls right on the glue dot, and then you have a sticker. Like, here you go, sticker. Just like that. So that's a great idea for that as well. So I did use some of those, and I'll point them out when I see them. But get one of these if you don't have it. I don't know how you could do without it. So let's look at the other one I did. Now I'm really going to get into the DS paper, because this is Boughs of Holly, Granny Apple Green, Mossy Meadows with Boughs of Holly, Mossy Meadow with Boughs of Holly. This is also Design a Daydream, Boughs of Holly. This is Lights Aglow and a Wash and Beauty. Now, if you notice, I duplicated these, but I didn't. I just, one's on the top, the other one's on the bottom, and vice versa on the other one. So this is a good example of how you can make two different looking trees with two pieces of paper. So also garden green lights aglow, black lights aglow, soft lights aglow, soft succulent, old olive and rustic harvest, black and lights aglow, a wash of beauty lights aglow, a wash of beauty parakeet party, garden green and wash and beauty, celebrate everything a wash and beauty, granny apple green, celebrate everything, black rustic harvest, white rustic harvest, textured chic, soft succulent, pretty prince and mint macaroon, textured chic, and mint macaroon and textured chic. Now I will take a photo of these and I will also put it on my website, joyofcards.com. Another really good source if you just want to see all of my cards. I will have everything listed, everything I've used, and also any tips. I will have the video, the YouTube video is always on my website, but I'll have a picture of this. So if you want to see all the colors that I use, because it's pretty interesting how things turn out. Like this is one of my favorite ones, but this one is too. This white and pear pizzazz with the multicolored dots from the green and red adhesive back pearls, which are in the new catalog. And it really makes a difference. So go to my website. I'll have a picture of all these. Now let's make the trailer, and we're going to be making this one here, so it's like really super layered. So we're going to take the big trailer die, we're going to use the layering die, and this little the window covering die. So with the big one, we're going to cut out a black, a white, and a so saffron. With the layering die, we're going to do a black, night of navy, and basic gray. We are also going to cut, with the big one, silver. Now I didn't cut the whole thing because I didn't want to waste all the silver, so I just partially cut this out of silver. And I did use real red for the curtain. And if you notice, I kept all the little circles and the little rectangles from the trailer, and we'll do that in a second. So anyway, so let's grab our black, and we're going to grab the circle that we cut from the trailer here, just that partial piece. And I'm going to go ahead and take this, and I'm going to put my fine tip glue on it, and I'm going to put it right on that hubcap there. And if you notice, these are in the new catalog. They're in the back. It's an essentials toolkit, and I just love it to get death. It's this one here for the embossing. It comes with this, a brush, an embossing buddy, and a tray for your embossing powders, which I use anyway, so that's really great. Now I'm going to take the bigger silver piece, and I like snailing, so I'm going to snail it, and I'm going to line it up on top of that trailer hitch, because I want my trailer hitch to be metal, so I'm going to line it up like that. Now if you want the trailer hitch to be like early espresso, like what I did on here, because this is black, garden green, and silver, silver, red, so saffron, and black, black, dark silver, espresso, early espresso, so saffron, light silver, white, and gold. This one is black, dark silver, regular silver, white, gray, a night of navy, so saffron, and red. That's one we're doing. White, so saffron, red, and gold, and black. Black, white, starry sky, silver, and so saffron, silver, gold, black, and white, and black and white, gray, granite, and silver. So interesting. You can make those just all kinds of different colors. So if I wanted this early espresso, then I would just go ahead and make this all in early espresso. So there's my first layer. Now I'm going to take my basic white and go ahead and snail that on top of there. But before I do, I need to cut some stuff off. So I am going to cut off the wheel and the hitch. So just like so, and then I line it up. Just like that. Now for my layering pieces, and you know what? We didn't need the black, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those. I cut those for no reason, so I'll save that for later. Anyway, so I'm going to grab my Night of Navy top to the layer. I don't need the bottom. and my basic gray bottom to that layer. So I've got a top and a bottom because we have a two-toned here. I'm going to snail this up and put on the basic gray. And then I'm going to take the Night of Navy and put that on top of there like so. Now for the window, this is why we did the So Saffron. I just wanted the window pieces. So that's an extra piece. Put that over there, and so is the white. And then I'm going to take that Real Red little valance here, put it on the end of my tweezers, and use my fine tip glue. Now before you put it on, figure out which side of the window fits. It's that side. You don't want to put it on upside down, and it'll fit right in there, so you don't have to worry about it too much. When you move it around, it might get away from you, but just stick it back in. And then the window here, fine tip glue, and I'm gonna put it, actually you don't need to glue it, it just kind of fits in there, but when you put it on a paper, glue it. So that's how you make the trailer. Another thing I wanted to point out is some dies have a stamp and some dies don't. So everything here has a stamp to it. So the trees, the tree stand, the pole, the dog, the sign, and the lights going across. They all have a stamp and a die. Now what I did up here was kind of cool. I did these different ways. The first bulb I used just my Real Red Stampin' Right. The second pole, I used the gold, red and gold adhesive back pearls, and I used the gold and the silver. That's the next one. I used the red from that same pack. I also used the Real Red rhinestones for this one here, and on that last one for the green, I used the 21 to 23 in color pearl opal rounds. So those all have stamps. Now the ones that don't have stamps are these. So the trailer does not have a stamp. This banner does not. The wreath with the bow, the stars, the Charlie Brown tree. Okay, so let's talk about certain dies. This die right here is for the Charlie Brown tree, and you've got two. They're exactly the same. This one is the wreath. Obviously, the banner, that's pretty self-explanatory. This is a Charlie Brown tree. So the Charlie Brown tree with the Charlie Brown leaves, these all go together. This die right here is the tree trunks. So when you do a tree, like I've done here, you just put them upright. So these are the tree trunks just like that. So I just wanted to show you some have stamps, some don't, and what they look like. Now I'm going to show you how to make this doggy here. And I did a whole bunch of different ones here because there's really, I mean, what color are dogs? They can either be black, which I didn't want to do black because then I wouldn't be able to give them an eyeball, or I'd have to do, anyway, you can if you want. I did black and early espresso. I did soft suede and early espresso. I did crumb cake. I did Sahara sand and soft suede, and I made a yellow one. So I did 3 different ones. Here's So Saffron, here's Crushed Curry, and here's Daffodil Delight. I also will put a picture of these on my website. So they won't do it for the YouTube thing, but I can do it for this one here. So let's go ahead and we're gonna do this soft suede early espresso, which is the one I like the best. And stamp out a puppy. If you notice, I'm stamping on a stamping pad because these are clear stamps. Make sure you do that. Now, he's not solid, but that's okay because, you know, he's not going to be all one color anyway. And then I'm going to take my early espresso Stampin' Right. If you're a demonstrator, I would get the whole set of Stampin' Rights. I use them all the time. And it's because you have a thinner end on one of them. Now, the Stampin' Blends are okay, but you can't get that precision on a Stampin' Blend. So what I did with Mr. Doggy here, I did a couple of different ones. In fact, why don't we go ahead and stamp out 2 of these puppies here, and I'll show you both ways. Okay, I'm gonna do the first one here. I'm gonna take the pointy end to my Stampin' Right and put a little eyeball there and do his nose. And then I'm just gonna trace him. So I thought this kind of looked nice, and that's the difference. Here is I kind of filled in more detail. This I just did the eye and the nose. And this one I traced. Now I did do something really nifty to this doggy here. I gave him spots, and you know how I did that? Is I took my stamp and I used my Stamparatus and I traced him. In fact, let me show you how I did it. So I got my doggy on my Stamparatus, and I'm gonna take my Early Espresso Stampin' Right, and I'm gonna go around the edge. Now you can do this with a different color, but I just wanted to use the Early Espresso. So I'm gonna go around the puppy like that, and I'm gonna stamp it out like so. Now don't move your puppy, because I just did that, and it's like, Noreen, you're not done yet. And then I'm gonna take my soft suede pad. I usually have a Stampin' Spot for this, but my desk ate it, so we're just gonna use the big pad here and try not to get my plate all dirty. That's what's great about these, is that it keeps everything clean, but my desk has decided that no. Anyway, so before I stamp this though, so I've got my outline, I've got my ink, and I've got my doggy going. Now I'm gonna grab this product called, and I don't even know how you pronounce this, Molotow. I will put a link to this. I'm pretty sure it's got to be on Amazon. Before you start using this though, you do need to shake it up really good, and you need to practice. And you want to do the smallest lines possible, but first get it going. Okay, once you get it nice and it's juicy, and then just make tiny little dots. That's what you want, tiny little dots. So I've got it going, I've got tiny little dots, and I'm gonna go within that puppy to make spots. Okay, and now I have to let it sit for a minute before I stamp it. Now we've let that liquid dry. It's got to dry completely before we can stamp. Go ahead and stamp your doggy. I wish I had a Stampin' Spot, but like I said, my desk ate it. I'm gonna stamp over him again, just like that, and that's good enough. So here's the doggy that has the spots on it, and I'm gonna let him sit for a minute, and we're gonna go back to this one here. What I did in this last one, the last row here, is I just went and took my Early Espresso and I just outlined the whole doggy, and I'm gonna do that. I'll be right back. And that's what he looks like. So that's what's in this column here. The next column is I did the eye and the nose, and then I took the other end of the pen and I just made some spots. So just freehand some spots. I did the back of the leg like that, and the front of the paw here, and a little bit of the underbelly, maybe around the butt, around the tail. And that's all I did with him. So there is that. And now for the reveal. Oh, let's give him some eyeball. I'll give him an eyeball and a nosy. And I'm gonna take my finger and I'm going to pull this off. You can even use one of these rubber eraser things. Now, when you're rubbing it, make sure you go into the doggy. Don't go out, because you might smear in the ink if it's not quite done yet. And look, it made little white spots. So that's how you make the little doggy. And that's how you do this set. Now, my next video coming up on Sunday, I'm going to be doing the cards. So go ahead and like and subscribe. And if you hit that little bell, you'll be notified when my next video comes up. And it's going to be the cards that match this. So that'll do it for me. Thanks. Bye.